Hi, I'm Elisa. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another reading update. So I know we are well into July now, but I did want to run through the books that I bought and finished in the month of June and kind of gave you an update on where we are with my reading. I am super behind on my reading challenge, which is not good. I may have broken some of my rules, but I'm not going to beat myself up about, buying more books than I said I was going to, and we're going to get into why. So first up, the first book, I did not purchase this in June, but I did receive it in June, and that's With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. This is obviously the cover. I am actively reading it. It is out in my living room. But yes, this is not a book of the month, nor an aardvark, and I did buy it. So I had pre-ordered this a few months ago because Murder by the Book in Texas does signings with different authors and you can pre-order a signed copy. I have pre-ordered the last 2 or 3 Riley Sager releases and I'm happy with them. They're not book of the months, they're not aardvarks, and I have read every single Riley Sager, so I wanted to make sure I had a copy, and I thought it was nice to support small business and get a signed copy. It's great. So while yes, this is an extra book, I'm not beating myself up too much. The first book I finished in June was Parents Weekend by Alex Finlay. I gave this 3 stars. This is about a group of parents who are all together for their children's college family weekend, parents weekend. And the first night they're supposed to all meet up with their kids at this parents weekend welcome dinner, but none of the kids show up. And the story kicks off from there. I don't think I'd ever read another Alex Finlay book before, and it was okay. I don't love books that follow the police detective. I did appreciate that this had multiple point of views. We followed, I want to say at least one of every single parental unit, and plus a cop. I just don't love cop thriller, cop mysteries. I just prefer like a layman. I just have never really been into them. That aspect of it didn't completely take away from it because I didn't dislike the cop, but it definitely wasn't my favorite. So 3 stars, it was fine. Another book that was not a book of the month, nor an aardvark, but no one should be surprised that I bought. This is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Like Riley Sager, Taylor Jenkins Reid is one of my all-time favorite authors. I will purchase everything she writes. I don't think I've ever given her less than a 4. Okay, wait, I gave some of her early stuff lower ratings, but her recent stuff, I've never given less than a 4. I cannot wait to read this. I was gonna read it in June. June got away from me, and this is definitely on my like must read soon list because it's TJR. I did not tell you what With a Vengeance is about. I know that it's a murder on a train, and this is about space. I don't really want to know much else about either book, but I'm excited. Next up, I read Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I gave this a 5 star. This was incredible, and it kind of cemented Madeline Miller as just a must-read author for me. I know she takes so much time with her books, and God knows when we'll get another one, but I really loved Circe, and I gave Circe a 4 and I gave this a 5, but I think I need to reread Circe because I think it's probably a 5. I just love her writing. I eat it up. I did not want to put this down. It is the story of Achilles and his friend that I can never, Patroclus, maybe? It was beautiful. It was just, I have never described myself as a Greek mythology girly. I have never really been into it. Reread parts of like the Iliad and the Odyssey in school, and I just was like, ugh. I was never really a Percy Jackson girl. Like, it just never was my thing. This, I love so much. I think a lot of my issue with Greek mythology in the past has been the stuff I read had heavy influence from the Greek gods, and I don't think I love that. I kind of like how it is in here, where Yes, the Greek gods are an aspect, and obviously there's magic, but a lot of it, most of it, is just about the human condition and about these two people, and I loved it so much. I already want to reread it. I made my fiance read it. He really loved it too. Beautiful book. Another book that is not from Book of the Month, nor from Aardvark, but this was a gift. So this is Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire. My best friend Sydney gives me like blind dates with books for my birthday a lot. Like I think I've gotten this like my third one maybe. And this was the book that came with it. I have heard of this, but I know literally nothing about it. I'm intrigued, and maybe I will bring it to the beach because it kind of has that like vibe to it, like a beach read, but maybe I could be wrong. Let me know. Let me know if you've read this. What'd you think? Looking forward to it. Next up, I listened to a novel love story by Ashley Poston. This I gave 2 stars. This was such an amazing premise. It is about a woman who is on her way to what is normally her annual book club. They're good friends, like retreat that they do for a week every summer. And none of her friends can make it this year, but she's gonna go by herself. She gets lost on her way there, and the romance series that brought them all together, she ends up in the town that romance series takes place in, which is crazy, obviously. I really liked this to an extent. I liked the premise, I think, a lot. I love the idea of this fictional town just appearing for her and her being able to interact with these characters. I think me listening to it really took away from this book. I did not like the narrator for this. I think the way the narrator was reading the character, I kept picturing the character as like a 60, 70-year-old woman. No, I think she's like in her 30s. It was frustrating. I think part of it's like the way she was written, like it was very like traditional Southern, but it came off like elderly, and then it was like I don't care. I didn't love the main character. I am learning really quickly that Grumpy Sunshine very rarely works for me because all I can think about is he's an asshole. Stop talking to him. Why do you care about him? So yeah, I think that really worked against me, or against the book. I didn't love it. I wanted to love it. I just didn't. Last up for books that were not Book of the Month or Aardvark is Goodbye Earl by Lisa Crossmith. Goodbye Earl by Lisa Crossmith. I bought this the day after my fiance's and I's like dual birthday party thing that we had. I went to the local secondhand bookstore with 2 of my best friends and we browsed. And I have been there, I think, twice this year. And this was the first time I'd purchased a book. This was the only book that I purchased, and it was solely because of that title. I love the Dixie Chicks, or the Chicks. I grew up on them. I love Goodbye Earl. It's like top 2 favorite songs by them. Like, love it so much. I was going to the beach, so I was like, this sounds like a perfect beach read. I'll tell you what I thought of it next month. It was $4. So that's a plus, but yeah, I bought that. Next up for books that I actually read in June, this is Detransition Baby by Tori Peters. I gave this a 3-star. This, I did not know what it was about going into it. This is about a trans woman living in New York City, living her best life to the best of her ability. She is dating troublesome men, for sure. And it's told with such an honest, blunt, kind of funny tone. It was really enjoyable to read. You also meet her ex, who has detransitioned, and his name is now Ames. And the dynamic there is very interesting, but it gets even more interesting because Ames is sleeping with his boss, who he gets pregnant. And now they've decided they're gonna try to raise the baby all together, the 3 of them, and the different dynamics that happen. I loved the conversations in this book a lot. I think there were many aspects that as a cis woman, I don't have to think about. So it was a very interesting point of view to read from. I really liked the topics discussed, and even though it was a really weird premise, obviously, like it's a very strange idea to have, I ultimately gave this a 3. I don't want to say I didn't connect. That's not what happened. I cared a lot about certain characters in this, but the cis straight woman who then says she's queer but doesn't really elaborate on that in this book, I didn't like her at all. I didn't love Ames as a character. The only one I really loved was Reese. I just enjoyed reading about Reese and her experiences and her point of view and the things that bothered her and the things that didn't bother her, and I just really enjoyed that aspect of it, but I kind of wish it wasn't around the baby. I understand the discussion of motherhood and the desire to discuss motherhood in that way and the different ways that, you know, motherhood can be approached. I don't think I loved that aspect of the story, so it was a 3. First up for book of the month, this is The Ghost Writer by Julie Clark. I know very little about this book as normal. June 1975, the Taylor family shatters in a single night when 2 teenage siblings are found dead in their own home. Oh, I do remember this. And then she comes back to ghostwrite. Right, okay. Sounds really interesting. I'm normally going to pick the mystery thriller from book of the month. We all know that. Picked this one up. And I want to say the last book, it is the last book I finished in June, was This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El Modar. I really enjoyed this. Unfortunately, I got sick right in the middle of it. Like, it's a 200-page, really short, easy read. Not really easy, but it's short. And I got sick in the middle of it, and it took me like 2 weeks. So I think the reason I gave it a 4, not a 5, is mostly because of that. I obviously got pretty disconnected from the story, not reading it for 2 weeks, or taking a 10-day break, but loved this. Beautiful writing. Like, the way this was written, just gorgeous. I don't want to give you too much because I went in pretty much blind, and I loved it. I loved the characters. I loved the premise. I loved the writing of it. Was delicious. It was so, so good. I would highly recommend it, and I would highly recommend going in mostly blind. It was really good. So now we just have the rest of the hauled books. This is King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. I read Razorblade Tears by him a few years ago. A son returning home, a dangerous debt, secrets about to ignite, and a family about to be consumed by flames. I was not super interested in reading more S.A. Cosby. He is quite violent. There was a lot of violence in Razorblade Tears. I believe he wrote Razorblade Tears, right? Yeah. There was a lot of violence, and it was very graphic, and that is not what I normally read. I was just kind of drawn to this, honestly. I had a free credit because it was my birthday, so I did get 4 books, and I was just kind of like, you know what? Let's do it. We'll see if I get to it this year. That would be great. I'm intrigued. Then we have the Amalfi Coast by Sarah Penner. I was mostly drawn to this for the cover. This was not this month's pick. It was, I want to say, May's pick, but I picked it up in June just because I was thinking about it, and it had a really long hold list at the library. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pick it up. Like I said, free birthday credit. Why not? I read The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, and I gave it, I want to say I gave it a 4. It was fine. I remember it being a little one note. Good storytelling. This is her 3rd novel. I own her 2nd novel. So I'm intrigued and excited to see how far she's come, because she had a ton of promise in her premises and her storytelling. I just hope it, you know, isn't so one note. Then we have Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I loved Addie LaRue. I have read a few other Victoria Schwab books. I read The Savage Song. I read A Darker Shade of Magic. Those are not quite my vibe, but I couldn't wait for this. I have absolutely no idea what this is about, and I don't want to. I love her writing. Even through the other books that I didn't love by her, I loved her writing. So I am super, super excited to pick this one up. It is one of my most anticipated of the year. was really excited to see it was a book of the month. Next up from Aardvark, we have Disappoint Me by Nicola Denon. I don't remember what this one is about. Electrifying story of love, betrayal, and the complicated allure of bougie domesticity. Hey, a lifetime of dysphoria and fuckboys. Okay. And she's dissatisfied. It's about a dissatisfied woman. I'm down. I'm down. I love Aardvark picks. I find them to be strange, but usually pretty enjoyable, so excited. This is The Memory Collectors by Didi Meserve, I want to say. So this I actually didn't know was on my wish list. I want to say this was a May Aardvark pick. I didn't pick it in May, but when I went back in June, I was like, oh wait, that's definitely on my wish list. So I believe this is 4 strangers time travel to the past and find themselves stuck on a day all their lives were changed in this stunning speculative mystery. Spend an hour in your past. Yes, so I love near future stuff like this. I love sci-fi that plays with current technology or technology that seems feasible that we would have soon. So I'm excited about this. Definitely drew me in. And the last book from Aardvark is The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling. She wrote The Death of Jane Lawrence, which I think got a bad rap. I didn't love it, but I also didn't hate it like a lot of people. I enjoyed the writing, so I'm excited. A transfixing fever dream of medieval horror. I'm excited. Castle's been under siege, food's running low. I love gothic medieval thriller, mystery, horror too, especially horror, forgot that word. So I'm excited. I liked The Death of Jane Lawrence. I really enjoyed the writing, so I'm hoping that is the same here. And of course, the biggest draw is how gorgeous it is naked. So as you can see, I bought more books than I read in June. Normally, this would mean I would need to read my oldest book on my TBR for that many books. You know, like if I 6 books off my 6 oldest books off my TBR I need to read or unhaul in the next month. Because I am still doing like the catch-up stuff, I'm giving myself a pass for June because it was my birthday, because I was sick, and because I'm giving myself grace. I am not going to force myself to read 4, 5, 6 books that are the oldest on my TBR. It's summer. We're going to the beach soon. I want to have a little bit of freedom. I am going to set the caveat that I do want to focus on those books that I, bought. So, Atmosphere, With a Vengeance, Goodbye Earl. Those extras I would love to focus on and not bring forward, because then it's like it didn't happen, right? That's how that works. But yes, no punishment this month. I'm sorry if you're disappointed in that, but it is what it is. The TBR did go up in number. I have decluttered so many books this year as well, so I'm a little less like, you have to be super stringent on this, but giving myself some grace, some leniency, and I'm super excited because I have been reading some very good books. Well, started off the month with a couple not so great books, but I'm super excited to get into some of my most anticipated books of the year. I hope you'll stick around. I'm hopefully starting a vlog that I will actually finish and, carry through. Thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, all the normal stuff, and I'll see you guys again really soon. Bye.